Hey there, book dragons. I am so glad you're here today. I recently read a new book by one of my favorite authors, Chad Nicholas. Now, if you are not familiar with Chad has written 3 books prior to this that are absolutely amazing. There is the psychological horror Nightmare. There is the crime thriller, psychological thriller, Shade. And then he wrote a slasher novel for his last novel, and that, guys, is Animal. So you may be wondering what the new book is. And this is a retelling of several fairy tales, but in a closed room thriller type of setting where all the characters from the different fairy tales are interacting together. And that, guys, is called One Grimm Night. And I have to say, this may be Chad's best book yet. I think it is, at least for me. This was an absolutely amazing read. So these are taken from different Grimm fairy tales, and you will probably be familiar with these tales. Of course, the Grimm fairy tales, being the originals, are much darker than the versions of these fairy tales that we grew up hearing in our childhood. But if you think that this is just a rehashing of that particular darkness, you are sorely mistaken, because it's even darker and scarier and more frightful and disturbing at times than the Grimm brothers probably ever thought up. And that's a very good thing. It makes for a really great recipe for reading. And so I'm just going to briefly tell you a little bit about it. I don't want to go too far. I don't want to spoil things for you, but I do want to say that it involves probably some of the most well-known fairy tales in existence. Things like an old woman who feeds breadcrumbs to children, or a woman in a red hood running through the darkness of a forest. And the creepy forest just by itself has so much atmosphere and character that is just kind of looming over the whole story, and there's lightning storms and things like that. It's very menacing and very frightful and very intense. This book is so well paced, and it builds on the tension as you go throughout the story. There are times that you think, okay, I mean, this is probably leveling out at some point. It doesn't, guys. It does not level out. It just keeps building. Because as these different characters show up to this old creepy cabin in the woods and start interacting with an old lady and an old man that are in the cabin together, they think that they've gotten shelter from the storm or shelter from the beasts in the forest that they are afraid is going to terrorize them and kill them. They have no idea what they are going to find at the heart of this cabin that they have stumbled upon in the woods. You are getting to know these characters, you're getting to know their backstories, you're getting to know things about people they've loved, and things about people that they have been abandoned by, and you are getting to hear about the wicked tales of their past and learn about curses that have been put upon them. All of these things are discovered during the interactions of the different characters in the story, and things are just not what they seem to be. You might think it's just your simple fairy tale retelling, and yet it is far different than what you would expect. So that's why I say, when you see these characters and you assume that you know their stories. Do not assume that you know these characters. Everything that's going on behind the scenes is so much darker and mysterious and creepy. And yes, there's supernatural elements, but the real horrors are to be found in some of the people inside the cabin. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to say too much, but I do want to say you need to read this book. If you like horror stories, you're going to be so satisfied with this book. I mean, if you're just in it for a horror story, welcome to the table. You're going to be taken in by this. And I was amazed at how deftly he wove this story together and how expertly he intermingled the different stories together. If you were to put all of these characters in a room together and find out about their stories and try to find out how they all end at the same junction point, that is what you're getting in this story. And it is so unpredictable at times and so well done. I just had a fantastic time reading this book. The book deals with some really great themes as well, such as dealing with trauma and overcoming fear and learning to trust again despite your past traumas, and learning how to protect others because of the life journey that you've been on. All of those different themes are woven into this book, and it's really, really good. And guys, the twists in this book, Chad is known for his plot twists. That's no different here. He's a master at the plot twists. I have never seen better plot twists than I have in Chad's books, and this book is no different. So be prepared. You're going to think you know what's going on, and then all of a sudden you don't know what's going on. And it's just a wild time. It's a bloody, wild time. So there is definitely gore in the story. I mean, it's not overpowering, but I do want to let you know it is there. There are some bloody moments and some pretty freakish moments in the book. They're good. They're not overwhelming. At least they weren't for me, but they might be for others. I just want to let you know that. So if you're not used to horror, just be prepared. And it's not extreme horror by any means. I would not put this book in the extreme horror category. It's just a horrific fairy tale retelling of epic proportions, woven into a 200-some, close to 300-page book. It's a short book. As far as my overall rating goes for the book, I give this a huge heart, 2 hearts, maybe 2 bleeding hearts, because, you know, it's that kind of book. But it was so much fun to read. Well done, Chad. I can highly recommend this book to anyone. And guys, this is a self-published book, just the way his other books are, and he's just a fantastic writer. The way he pulls the story together is right up there with the top creators in their craft. I highly recommend all of his books to anyone, and especially this new one. It's fantastic. I do want to let you know I was given an advanced reader copy of this book in exchange for an honest review, but like with all of Chad's other books, I bought the physical copies. You can see I bought the hardcovers. It's just that good. It's shelf worthy. I had to have these on my physical shelf. So just so you know, I'm not just some shill sugarcoating the review. I'm a firm believer. This is an excellent read. And so it is not released yet. It releases on October 21st. You can put your pre-order in right now for the ebook and the paperback. There is a hardcover edition coming from what Chad told me. It's just taking a little longer to get up on Amazon, but it will be there. So I'm waiting for the hardcover edition. And guys, I highly recommend reading this book. I think I've said that enough in this review, so I am going to leave it there. Thank you, Chad, and thank you to all of you for watching this review, and thank you to all of you who are planning to go and read this book and purchase this book now that you've heard this review. At least I hope there's some of you out there that are going to do that. I'm sure there are. Let me know in the comments below. Have you read any of Chad's other books? Have you enjoyed them? What are your thoughts? And does this sound like a book that you plan to read as well? Let me know. Or if you haven't heard of Chad up to this point, I'm not sure where you've been, but you need to go check him out, and I hope you will. Let me know if you're planning to do that in the comments below. And until next time, guys, make sure you read more books, and I will talk to you soon.